What up, guys? Welcome to your 26th tutorial. Finally, some of you guys have been waiting for this. I'm sorry, I've been crazy busy this week. But thanks again for watching and subscribing. Give me thumbs up and comments, all that great stuff. Today we're just going to kind of finish up this tutorial for, it might be 2 videos. I'm not positive how long this is going to take. But first, open up your tutorial for Java and just go down to where we set up our buttons. Set up a play button and a stop button. So we're just going to set up our play button to do something else besides just a click listener. We're going to do a long click listener, so when you hold down the button it'll save pretty much the song to the phone. And I couldn't show you an example of this before the tutorial. I'm sorry, I couldn't give you a preview because the emulator doesn't really have a directory where I set this one up to save. So basically we're going to say our button play dot set on long click listener right down here, and just as before, just as we'd set up like one of these like regular click listener, we're gonna need to say new view dot on long click listener, and here's our on long click. So we're just going to set up some stuff in here, and we're also going to close off our little statement there. And what we want to do is we want to get an input stream, and then basically that's what we want to take in, and then we're going to have to use an output stream to save that data to the phone. So we're going to need both the input stream and the output stream, but we also need a file path and a pretty much creating a new file. So first we're going to set up that path and that file that we want to create. And first we're going to set up the path where we want the file to go. And so it's going to be a file type variable, and we're just going to call it path because that's what we want to do. You got to import the file as always. And we're going to use the environment of the phone. And so we're just going to type in environment, spelled correctly. And then we got all these choices once you hit the dot. And we're going to say get, there's plenty of places as you can see where you can store these. Some are like for like apps that you don't want the user to be able to use files, but you want to like save your files to their phone. You can do that, but we want these music files that the user can use. So we're going to say get external storage public directory, and this is going to save it to the SD card of the person's phone. And when you guys are messing around with this, like I said, the emulator, I don't know, I couldn't get it to work, but when you use your actual phone it'll work, but you got to make sure you unplug your phone when you're like testing this out, because otherwise the SD card won't be available and it won't find it. So you'll be like, hey man, this doesn't even work, give me false hope here. But yeah, it will work. And again, we're just going to set up simply. We aren't going to do any error checking. And also, well, I'll get to that when we get there here. But in these parentheses, we also want to use an environment, and we're going to say dot. And we should have all these. Did I not spell it right? Environment, such a hard word to spell. Come on, what's wrong with me? Alright, so we have all these directories, and these are basically the default directories. So we have directory music, picture directory, and these are just the standard ones. Again, these might not work for all of them, so like if you use one of these and this little tutorial isn't working for you, most likely you don't have that standard directory. And for some reason I didn't have the music directory, so I'm just going to use one that I know I have, and it's the download directory. So basically it's directories underscore downloads, and again once you type in environment dot, it'll just set that up for you. So we're going to close off our statement here, and again this is just the path where we want to get our file to be saved. So now we have to actually set up that file. And to do that, we're going to say, again, it's going to be a file variable, and we're going to call this one file, because this is the actual file that we're going to save to the phone. And what we want in its parameters, or what we want to set it up as, is new file, capital F, and let's see if it gives us some parameters. Yeah, see, we have a file, or it takes a file, which is, we're going to use our path for the file, and then it also takes a string. And this is what we want to label our file as on the phone. So we're going to say the first variable takes a file, and we're going to say path. So that's this variable that we just set up. And then we're going to say we want to save the song as, we're going to call it Cornboy's Song. And then you can also add, um, if you want to add like a variable, so like, we have 4 different songs, so every time it's going to save a different song, but it's just going to overwrite this file if we have it like that. So we're going to say, again, that other variable we set up called what song, and that's a switch case. And then you want to, and you have to use plus signs when you use like a variable like that. Is it what song? I gotta check that real quick. Yeah. See, again, this is just like the 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4, and that just determines what song we selected with our radio buttons. So it's going to say Cornboy Song 1, and then we just want to end it with .mp3. Again, to use those variables, just use the plus signs, and then we're just going to finish off our statement. And there you go. Now it's going to say Cornboy's Song 1 .mp3. So that's pretty cool. Nothing too awesome there, but yeah, that's what it's going to set it up as. And then what we want to do, sorry guys, I'm pretty tired here, but now we got to use this file, just like always, when it gives us that yellow squiggly line. But every time we mess with it, or every time we do something like sketchy, we want to use that try and the catch exceptions, because basically we have to, and it's just good programming. So we're going to say try and try I'm just trying to figure out how I want to explain this here.